You dumb motherfuckers at WWE HQ. This coming Sunday is the greatest wrestling match of all time. And then we come to Smackdown tonight. This match has been pre-taped by at least 3 weeks, maybe 4 weeks. Daniel Bryan versus AJ Styles, the finals of the Intercontinental title. And what did we get tonight? We got the WWE match of the year, the closest they will probably get to a 5-star on regular television in a long fucking while. Anything Edge and Randy Orton do this coming Sunday will pale in comparison to what they did tonight. This was a one-match show. Why this did not main event the show is beyond me. The final thing we saw at the show went off the air was Otis Tucker of Heavy Machinery. Yes, Otis is still here. Otis is here. I'm sorry, not Otis. Tucker is alive. He's well, and it's great to see that. And Braun Strowman with Mandy Rose, of course, celebrating a victory. But the majority and the bulk of this match, this show, was the Intercontinental title final. And it was a hell of a match. AJ Styles, Daniel Bryan gave you a classic to talk about for years to come. Now for the rest of the show, as we'll get to that match here in a bit, we started off with the contract signing. This has been talked about over the last few days, that WWE was going to do something controversial in this episode of Smackdown. Jeff Hardy, Sheamus were going to do a contract signing. Sheamus comes out with a doctor for security and a stall, and and one of those like stall things that you would use somewhere for a urine test. He wants a urine test, or he will not sign on the dotted line. Well, as you know, when you take a urine test, if you do, I never had to. Well, I had to for a job I got about 6 years ago. It was a gas station job that I was working at, and you had to have a drug test because it was in their rules. If you wanted to work here, we had to give you a drug test. Okay, well, whatever. Apparently, it takes 24 hours for that to happen. Well, Sheamus, somehow, and I've never heard this before, has found a doctor that does a rapid fire test that takes seconds, if not minutes, if not seconds. He's paid for it. He just wants the test done so he can know that he is getting in the ring, so he can know if he's getting in with a guy who's clean or he's gonna have to avoid the match because Jeff Hardy is becoming a junkie again. Here's my problem with this entire segment. This segment aired on Friday. The pay-per-view is not until Sunday. And you have this so-called rapid fire test that could be administrated. Why would you have the contract signing with the urine test happening tonight if Jeff Hardy wanted to, I'm not saying he's going to, but wanted to show up intoxicated, inebriated, popped up on pills like he did it at what was it? What the fuck? Victory Road 2000 and what was it? 11? Yeah, Victory Road 2011 when he faced off against Sting in the worst match of his career. If he wanted to take that urine test and come back negative and then say, you know what, and just somehow hit the bottle again Sunday going into that match and came in inebriated or on pills, it makes no fucking sense to have the drug test today and tonight. It just made no sense. So Sheamus wants it just like, you know what, I'm tired of this. I've been fighting this for years. I go to meetings every week talking about how I left my family, my fans, and myself down, Jeff is saying. He's like, you know what, if that's what it takes, fine, I'll do your little shit, I'll do your little stunt so I can get this done and over with. So him and the doctor get in the stall, and while that's going on, Sheamus gets in front of the cameras and does a PSA about, kids, if you do drugs, you're a loser, just say no, all this other bullshit, all this other shit, which, honestly, if WWE wanted to clip that piece out and just use it as a PSA in your local, your local schools, there you go. So they're done. and the doctor comes out with this big, huge, looks like a big, huge mug for alcohol. And that's not really piss. I'm telling you that right now. That is either Jeff Hardy is drinking something that makes his piss very dark, or that is beer / apple juice. Because, my God, that was too dark. So the doctor has this little needle thing he's putting in the pit, the so-called piss. Sheamus is lashing out at Hardy again. And Hardy says the good old words of, you know what? It's better to be pissed off than pissed on, as he has the piss behind his back, and turns it around and tosses it into Sheamus, signs the dotted line, leaves. Sheamus is convulsing. He's like just gagging and taking his shirt off. The crowd is chanting, "You've been pissed on," but they bleep that out, which is fucking bullshit. Come on, let these guys go out there and say that. So Jeff Hardy is embarrassed because he has to publicly test piss in a cup, which you don't need that much fucking piss, first and foremost. Like, seriously, that's another red flag. Like I said, I've had one urine test, and it's not that big of a fucking cup for crying out fucking loud. 2, that's not that fucking dark. And 3, you don't need that fucking much. It's like it's the size of it's a little bit bigger than a shot glass with a little red line. You piss to the little red line, and that's all you fucking need. This just stupid as shit. So you embarrass Jeff Hardy, and then you have Jeff Hardy embarrass Sheamus. Was that only the point of this entire thing? Was to embarrass two guys who are supposed to have a big beef against each other going into this pay-per-view coming Sunday? This was absolutely stupid. So we go to break, we come back, and we see Sheamus at a sink, which I know there's probably showers in the Performance Center. He should be sitting in a shower trying to clean this shit off. The doctor comes in and says, "I just want to let you know Jeff Hardy's test came back. It was negative." Sheamus isn't happy. He goes back to the water trying to clean himself up, and that was that. Then we go to the ring, and it's the New Day versus Cesaro and Nakamura again, like we did last week. Only no Chad Gable and no Mojo Rawley. So, before the match starts, the New Day are out first. They take a knee, put one fist in the air for, solidarity. Like, freedom of speech, they want to do that, by all means, go right ahead. As long as you have approval of the people who own the property, that is fine. So, this match, I didn't really give a shit about. There was nothing special about this match except for the end, as Kofi goes for a splash off the top rope. Nakamura poorly grabs him into his knee, rolls him up 1, 2, 3. Nakamura and Cesaro beat the tag team champions. AEW has done this themselves this week, where they had Penelope Ford beat Hikaru Shida, but that was by a title shot, a shot to the head with the title. So you can pull that back a little bit, but this has got to stop. There are better fucking ways to find number one contenders for a championship. The winner of the Intercontinental title match, which we'll talk about here in a minute, I would not want to be that champion, because you're going to go into singles matches and you're going to lose. Why? Because WWE can't figure out a way to find a number one contender. I mean, hell, they had a triple threat match on Monday Night Raw between Andrade, Angel Garza, and Kevin Owens to see who faces Apollo Crews at Backlash. What a fucking concept, a number one contenders match. That's what they did for Asuka's championship contender too. Have them go out there and have Nia Jax, Natalya, and Charlotte in one of the dumbest fatal four-ways triple threats I've seen, because none of them deserve to have a title shot. But still, that's better than having New Day lose to Nakamura and Cesaro in a non-title match. This has got to stop. It's lazy. You could have had the Nakamura and Cesaro take on the Forgotten Sons and bury the Forgotten Sons out those things that Jackson Ryker said that a lot of people disagree with, which it's his own personal opinion. He has an idea. Keep your opinion. If you don't like the fact that he expressed himself online, shut the fuck up and go back to working. You might be fuming, but hey, if it's how he actually feels, you can sit there and shut up, because it's the way the man feels. That's all I gotta say about that. But anyway, you could have had literally anything mean, Heavy Machinery was back tonight, which hopefully we'll see them in the tag team division after Otis clearly is not going to have that Money in the Bank briefcase for much longer. I just have a feeling that they're going to take that title, that off of him, and insert it onto somebody else who we'll talk about later. But as I said in my notes, how hard is it to name a #1 contender without defeating the champion in a non-title match? After that, we go backstage, and Tucker has a blindfold on Otis. He's ringing a bell. He brings a couple burger patties to the guy's mouth, to the guy's nose. Mandy shows up, gives him a kiss, and he's like, "Oh, Tucker, he thinks Tucker did it." He pulls the blindfold off, and he's like, "Oh, my peach!" And she gives him his briefcase, gives him a kiss, and just walks off. So Tucker has to, snap him back into getting focused for the match. Of course, talking about how the tag team partner, of course, is Braun Strowman on tonight, and if they wanted to, they could have him cash in tonight, and Otis could be your Universal Champion. Of course, that's not happening. Then we get a highlight and a testimonial from Corey Graves why the Intercontinental title should be prestigious. Should. And I say should because just like any other championship in WWE, they don't give a shit. These titles have zero meaning. This match here in a minute was by far the best thing on WWE television all week. And I'm counting NXT in this week because NXT was an show this week. But the bell rings as we have our what should have been the main event, because this again was taped 4 weeks ago. Or 3 weeks ago, whatever it was. 3 weeks ago. This match should have been your main event. Instead, the pointless 6-man tag team match with Heavy Machinery and Braun Strowman versus Miz Morrison and Dolph Ziggler was your main event. Why? I don't fucking know. This was worthy of a main event. You know what else this was worthy of? Being on pay-per-view. You'll want to know why this wasn't on pay-per-view? Because this match, which I'm going to go into highlights here because this is the only match I'm highlighting tonight because this match was the best match of the week. The reason this match in this finals was not on pay-per-view is because they booked AJ Styles versus Daniel Bryan as the finals. Do you really think Edge and Orton, being dubbed as the greatest wrestling match ever, would be able to outshine Daniel Bryan versus AJ Styles? Give me a fucking break. We haven't even seen the greatest wrestling match ever hit the screen yet. We will on Sunday. That's probably going to be the main event of Backlash. And you want to know something? This match blows it out of the fucking water. They could take 35 minutes and whittle it down to 20 minutes of that match, and it's going to pale and not even top this match that happened tonight, which of course was taped 3 weeks ago. So, the bell rings, we start. They lock up, Bryan gets a wrist lock, working on the arm, AJ reverse, both men are fighting for control. Drop kick by Bryan sends AJ to the mat. AJ kicks to the gut, then into a turnbuckle. AJ goes for a suplex, but Bryan stops that. AJ sent to the outside, and Bryan hits a suicide dive, which we go to break. The one thing, and this I talked about this, I believe, on Wednesday. The one thing that brought this match down for me is that we had 4 commercial breaks. Now, granted, I know they need commercials, but what I would love to do, if I was WWE, and you're having an Intercontinental Championship match between AJ Styles and Daniel Bryan, work out with Fox and be like, hey, we have this much tape of this thing. We want to show this thing in its entirety. Can we do advertisements like pop up in the corner and everything? Because yes, they advertised NASCAR when the XFL was going on or other sports were going on last year. They were advertising them as they popped up. You could do the same fucking thing for like actual advertisements. Just have the Popeyes thing pop up. I want to see this match in its entirety. I don't want to be cut down with 4 fucking commercial breaks. It takes away the excitement. You have these guys battling for about 5-10 minutes in between commercial breaks. They're building up for a crescendo, and then it goes to commercial break, and you're like, how you would just Like the high you were getting on just slowly stops down. The burn of making this a hell of a great match just starts to ease down. Commercial breaks during big wrestling matches like this have got to be reworked. I wouldn't care if we had this entire fucking match and then we had 10 minutes of fucking commercials. I really wouldn't care. As long as I stall this match completely. Now, we come back from break and Bryan is in control. Working on the right arm as AJ, I think it was the left arm actually. Stretching it back. Holy shit, I don't know how AJ Styles was able to stand this. He's got him down on the mat and he's just pulling the arm of AJ back, ends up rolling, getting him, like stretching him around into a pin for a 2 count. AJ gets a leapfrog as they back up and then gets the picture perfect drop kick. AJ Styles has one of, and they mentioned this on commentary, has one of the most beautiful drop kicks, picture perfect drop kicks in the business. He hits it every single time, and he's been doing it for probably about 20 years. That drop kick is one of the best, like the best out there. AJ gets a couple shots in and then hits a chop in the corner. Bryan fights back, but AJ stops that and works on Bryan's arm. Big telling story of this match is both men worked on one arm, and then AJ Styles, of course, worked on the one leg of, like the left leg of Daniel Bryan, as he likes to use the calf crusher. And of course, it would stop Daniel Bryan from being able to use the running knee, as that is one of his finishes that he debuted, of course, back in 2013. Let's see here. AJ working hard on the left arm and Bryan, but Bryan ends up hitting a knee to the back to AJ. Bryan gets up, goes for a surfboard. He's trying to go for the surfboard stretch, you know, wrap the legs up, pull him backwards, but his one arm is so damaged that he can't pull back. So instead, he just takes his knees, he takes himself, lifts up, and stomps down on AJ's knees. Now Bryan has AJ on his stomach and fits his leg into a figure 4. Like figure 4 is his legs, and starts wrenching back a couple times, adding to the damage. Bryan gets then Styles gets out of that. They jumps over and they trade some pins for multiple 2 counts, pin after pin after pin after pin. Both men hit the, I don't know what the fuck happened, but these two hit each other hard with a huge collision. We go to break. Come back from break, fighting for position. As we come back, Bryan gets in the upper hand, works on the arm as AJ rolls him up for a 2 count. Bryan goes for the yes lock, no dice. AJ catapults Bryan to the outside. Now Bryan gets AJ out to the outside, grabs him, puts his arm in the hammerlock, and throws him shoulder first of the bad arm into the ring post. AJ definitely feeling the pain after that one. Bryan gets back in the ring and AJ is still down and he's stomping on the arm. He is working on this arm. He wants to use this to get it into the yes lock to make this guy tap. Back inside, Bryan had AJ twisting on, had AJ's arm twisting. AJ and flips him, drops onto his arm with a leg drop. Now Bryan is killing AJ's arm over and over. On AJ's back, Bryan is wrenching his arm back, which looked absolutely sickening. Double underhook, Bryan gets a 1 count. AJ powders from the ring. Tries to get a breather, trying to, get some feeling back in that arm, because if he loses that arm, that could be like he can't leap up for the phenomenal forearm. He can't get the calf crusher in because that's just power to his arm that he won't have. Back in AJ is tossed in the corner. Bryan goes for the running knee, but going for the running drop kick in the corner. But AJ Styles moves, and Daniel Bryan crashes and burns. Now AJ kicks the left leg out of Bryan now, and he works on the leg. Very innovative offense here, where he takes Bryan, who is down by the apron, pulls his leg out, and hits a dragon screw, driving Bryan's leg onto the mat in the corner, and on the hardest part of the apron. Back in, AJ picks is picking Bryan's left leg apart. Bryan left hung up, and he took his leg, put it over the top of the on top of the second rope, folds it over, gets it into so it's on so he has so when he goes to move him, he won't be able to move. He has it secured under the bottom rope. So he just takes Daniel Bryan and swings him back, adding to a little bit of damage, like a good bit of damage to the leg as he is hung up. Comes over, starts battering Daniel Bryan while he's hung up. Insecure by Bryan, and both men are down. Both get up. AJ goes for the forearm. Bryan shoves him, knocking him off of the ropes. In the corner, Bryan with some kicks in the corner. Now Bryan hits a Frankensteiner out of the corner. Beautiful looking move there. Yes, kicks by Bryan to AJ. AJ ducks the last one, as everybody seems to do now. There used to be the cool thing, you see him doing the yes kicks. Yes, 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 yes. He winds up for that last kick and he hits his opponent. How often does Daniel Bryan actually do the yes kicks, winds up for that last kick, and actually land a kick to the head? It almost is very rarely to see it now. Some shots by Bryan, by AJ, then a huge clothesline, and we go back to break. Back from break again, and they're trading shots. Bryan tries for a dive, but AJ kicks the injured arm. Apparently, something happened to Bryan's knee during this entire kick, because he goes back to work on the knee, to try and get some feeling in the knee. AJ on the apron misses the forearm. Bryan gets AJ into an armbar. AJ turns into the calf crusher. Bryan counters that into the armbar. AJ cuts out. Bryan then gets a kick to the arm, then a head for a 2 count. Bryan goes up back to the arm. AJ sends him to the top rope. AJ knocks Bryan off the ropes. Bryan comes back up as he has him sitting up on the ropes. He knocks him down again. He tries to get up to do something. Bryan gets back up for a 3rd time, and then this time hits the back suplex off the top rope. And then we go back to break. And for some reason, it just felt like this one felt like they were there for like 2 minutes, then we go back to break. It felt like it was really quick. Back and Bryan is working on AJ in the corner. Bryan flips off the corner and does his backflip, the running backflip, and he doesn't hit the perfect landing as his knee buckles and he is down. AJ gets up top, hits the backflip into the Scorpion Death Drop for a 2 count. AJ goes for the fireman's carry, but Bryan fights out. AJ hits a Pele kick, then a brainbuster by AJ for a 2 count. Then they're trying something else. AJ tries to go for the Styles Clash, but Bryan turns it into a jackknife pin for another 2. Pele caught into an ankle lock, German by Bryan, 2 count. He keeps a hold of the grip, but AJ Styles is able to get out and get his own German suplex pin for a 2 count. And then AJ gets another, and then Bryan gets back in control and hits another German for another 2 count. AJ with elbows in the neck. Daniel Bryan with elbows to the neck of AJ Styles. Bryan gets the yes lock in, but AJ is able to fight to the ropes. Then it's like, as Michael Cole asked, what does Bryan have to do? He's got this look of what's he got to do. So Bryan goes over, grabs the wrist of AJ Styles, and as when he turned heel in 2018, he grabs the wrist and he starts stomping away at AJ Styles. He looks for the running knee. He's like, come on, AJ, get up. And you hear the yes from the WWE's crowd that they have there. Goes for the running knee. AJ catches him, puts him into a Styles Clash, nails it. Cannot pick up the win as he hits the Styles Clash, bounces off, and both men are down. AJ crawls or slides over to the apron, gets up, hits the phenomenal forearm. 1, 2, 3. AJ Styles is your new Intercontinental Champion. One hell of a match. I cannot do it any justice. I could sit there and write move for move. I could sit there and watch this match over and over and write this thing down move for move, and I could not do this match justice. If you were going to watch one match, if you're one of those casuals like, you know what, I want to see one match in WWE this week, what should I watch? AJ Styles versus Daniel Bryan. I don't care if it's on Raw, SmackDown, NXT. This is the match to watch. This was fantastic. Again, the biggest drawback of this is because it's commercial breaks. Just like any other great match that you have out there, commercial breaks hurts these matches. This to me would have been a 6-star or something, or a 5.5, because they just went out there and killed it. But the commercials pull you back. When I'm watching a good wrestling match like this, I don't want to have time to breathe. I want to be able to sit this and watch this match slow build and build up to a great finale with not having any time to think, blink, breathe, or anything. And unfortunately, because it's on TV, you get those moments where it's like they're starting to get into a high gear, and then it just commercial break. Ooh, exhale. And then it comes back, and then you come back from break, and you got to sit there and try and feel that same energy. I mean, if you're in the crowd for these matches, you get to see the match from start to finish. That's not what we get to see at home. We only get to see portions of the match. We miss at least 5 to 10 minutes of a long match because of commercial breaks. And this one being 4 breaks, it just felt like it felt great to see. And these guys were working their asses off. This wasn't one of those things where they sat around while the commercial was going off. They went out there and they kicked each other's ass. They beat each other up. This was a fucking title match. This is what it means. This is what these two should do for a title match. If you want to be the fucking champion, you do every fucking thing in your power to win that match. And that's what these two went out there to do, barring not breaking any of the rules, because that's not what they were there to do. They went out there, they kicked each other's ass, they went out there and they both took a beating, and they gave you one hell of a wrestling match. WWE are fucking stupid. Why are they fucking stupid? Because this coming Sunday, it's the greatest wrestling match of all time. And Daniel Bryan and AJ Styles blew that match out of the water. And we haven't even seen it yet. I don't care how happy and how proud they are of that match. You're not going to top this match this week. You're just not. Sorry, you're just not. This was great. Nothing we see on Backlash. I'm even saying not anything we saw in AEW this week was as good as this match. This was the match of the week from any promotion. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. We get a PSA from Braun Strowman about who knows who gives a shit. Then we go to the ring and see balloons being set up. Oh boy, it's Bayley and Sasha Banks celebrating their tag team title victory from last week. So the champs come out, Banks of course first, then Bayley, who Bayley comes out running around all excited because she's got 2 belts. They take Michael Cole's phone, they give him his, he puts, I think it was Sasha Banks' sunglasses on. They're doing selfies. He's like, hey girls, I'm over here, hey ladies, I'm over here, and they're like, nice try, and they go into the ring. Bayley is just becoming really good at what she's doing. She is becoming a really good heel. She is a self-centered, self-conscious heel. She thinks that her shit doesn't stink. She believes she is the best out there. Banks, I feel, and we're going to talk about Backlash before we get out of here too. I just feel that Bayley and Sasha Banks, it's too early. Well, we'll talk about that in a bit. They're excited, they're happy, they're the tag team champions, and Banks is like, we told you so, we told you we'd win our tag team titles back when we wanted to, and look what we did. We're the role models, we don't lie, we do what we say we're going to do. Bayley wants to recite some poetry to Sasha Banks. Oh good God, please don't do this. Thankfully, Nikki Cross and Alexa Bliss come out. Nikki Cross, Alexa Bliss is like, you know what, I'm all fine with you celebrating your championship win last week, but as soon as you start to want to speak poetry, yeah, we got to cut you off from there. So these two teams are, talking back, and then the Moronics show up on the screen and saying at Backlash they're going to win the titles. And what happened what happened before? We beat Nikki Cross and Alexa Bliss recently, and we were the ones to take the titles from Bayley and Sasha Banks originally. Don't fucking remind us, that was a fucking joke. By the way, did you know the only reason the Moronics were the women's tag team title holders back last year was they were supposed to have a feud with Nikki and Brie Bella? That was the only reason they gave them the titles? Really? Wow. But they said, we also left you laying on Monday. If you don't want that to happen tonight on Friday, you might not want to turn your back to Nikki and Alexa, because they were watching the Moronics on the screen, and these two had their backs to Alexa and Nikki Cross. They turn around, the women brawl, Nikki and Alexa Bliss send them packing, and that was that. Miz and Morrison backstage, and we are coming close to the end of the show. I was like, oh shit. They want to premiere a new video about, hey, 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 and they start to play the music video when Braun Strowman's music hits, and we go to the ring for Strowman and Heavy Machinery versus Miz, Morrison, and Ziggler. Oh my god, Tucker Knight. Tucker Knight is safe. He's alive. He's alive and safe. You can call off the search, ladies and gentlemen. Tucker Knight is safe. He is in the WWE PC Wrestling, a pointless 6-person tag match in the main event. Nothing you did on this show after AJ Styles versus Daniel Bryan mattered one lick. Just saying. So, the biggest thing out of this match is that midway through the match, Tucker is like a house of fire. He looks like he's going to capitalize and take down The Miz, when all of a sudden we see Baron Corbin on the screen, telling this camera guy, it's like, hey, listen, just follow me and keep your distance. So he walks and walks over to Mandy Rose. And he questions Mandy about what happened last week when Otis took his crown and wore it and stretched it with his big head. She says, no, he's just having fun. He's like, you can admit it, you don't have to be mad, but I can understand you're fantasizing about being with somebody better than Otis. You're fantasizing about being with a king. You're fantasizing about being with me. Otis comes in, beats the brakes off of Baron Corbin, and then we go to break. We come back. Otis is not returned yet. Tucker takes a beating. Otis eventually returns with Mandy in tow. About time. He tags in, becomes a house of fire. Braun, who got taken out by Miz and Morrison a little bit earlier, does his nice little run around, taking out Miz, pretty much checking Morrison into the plexiglass, and then throwing Ziggler into the barricade, into the thing. Caterpillar 1, 2, 3, and that was that. Clearly, it's obvious to me, Baron Corbin's going to be your Mr. Money in the Bank. He's going to be the one to cash in, because it's not going to be a Backlash. I think it's way too early for that. And I think they're going to have have Baron Corbin take on Otis at Extreme Rules with the briefcase on the line, and Mandy's going to turn on him then, and Otis is going to lose his briefcase, and Baron Corbin's going to have the briefcase and the girl, and we're going to go from there. I just have it happening. And then Baron Corbin is going to right the wrong he had the last time he had the briefcase and probably win the Universal title from Braun Strowman. And that's where we're heading to. Smackdown outside of Daniel Bryan versus AJ Styles, which if you're watching anything this week from WWE, that is the match to watch. So, Smackdown was an show, as usual. But we have one event coming up on Sunday. Did you know Backlash is going to have the greatest wrestling match ever? The greatest wrestling match ever. Please. Anyway, that is your Smackdown Live review. We're going to talk about Backlash here in 3, 2, 1. Backlash, we have 7 matches coming up this weekend. We have no pre-show match as of yet. But we do have 7. It would not surprise me if Andrade and Apollo Crews gets bumped to the pre-show. Starting off with that match, Apollo Crews versus Andrade. Of course, Apollo Crews beat Andrade about 2-3 weeks ago. 3 weeks ago it was, for the United States Championship. And this is his second title defense, as last week he defended the title against Kevin Owens. Of course, this week, Kevin Owens, Andrade, and Angel Garza took on each other to see who is going to face him this coming Sunday. And that is what we're getting. We're going to talk about Paul Heyman and all that stuff this coming Sunday morning. But since the Monday that was taped this past Tuesday is going to be the Monday that happens next week, I don't think... These guys are Paul Heyman guys. These guys are Paul Heyman projects. Andrade and Apollo Crews. I don't see Andrade winning the championship. There's no reason to give Andrade the championship. So I'm going with Apollo Crews. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. Sasha Banks versus Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross versus the Moronics. This match is happening because, one, the Moronics beat Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross multiple times as they were champion. Two, B, Bayley and Sasha Banks won the tag team championships last week. And C, because WWE can't think of anything else but to give us this match. Now, this coming Wednesday, WWE/NXT announced that Shotzi Blackheart and Tegan Nox are going to have a match against the women's tag team champions. It has to be Bayley and Sasha Banks. I don't want to see the Moronics going to NXT with the women's tag team titles. I don't want to see Bliss and Cross going to the NXT with the tag team titles. This is what Bayley and Sasha Banks were going to do when they had the tag team titles after WrestleMania. They were going to come to NXT and defend the titles. Guess what? WWE got fucking stupid. So, Bayley and Sasha Banks, who just won the tag team titles last week, need to win. I don't care. I do not want to see a hot shotting of the championships because WWE thinks it's the smart thing to do. Bayley and Sasha Banks for the win, no doubt about it. Jeff Hardy versus Sheamus. I fucking hate the way they built this match. You have Jeff Hardy and Sheamus in a one-on-one match. They faced off in the first round of the Intercontinental title tournament. Of course, Jeff Hardy won, and then Sheamus tried to, whoever did, tried to frame him. And here we are right now. So, I'm going to pick... Well, Jeff Hardy won the first one in that Intercontinental title tournament. I'm going to pick Sheamus because of some kind of tomfoolery. I don't think this is the end of this feud whatsoever. I fully expect these guys to have some kind of Extreme Rules match at Extreme Rules next month. So Sheamus wins this one, making the series even 1-1, so we can go to Extreme Rules to have the rubber match, and then we'll get to that when we do. Asuka versus Nia Jax Women's Championship. Asuka wins this one, no problem, no doubt about it. The reason for two reasons: one, Nia Jax has no business being in a championship match, and two, you do not reward bad behavior. You do not reward incompetence. You do not reward carelessness. You do not reward a liability like Nia Jax. And obviously, the title feud is going to be Charlotte versus Asuka. Do you really think Charlotte versus Nia Jax is what WWE wants to book? Hell no. So Asuka is going to win. And honestly, what I would love them to do, ring the bell, Asuka kicks her in the face, kicks her down to her knees, kicks her in the face, puts her in the armbar, makes her tap out, and that is that. Make it a 2-minute, make it a 30-second match. Braun Strowman versus Miz and Morrison, 2-on-1 handicap match for the Universal Championship. Yeah. Braun Strowman wins this one. This is a placeholder. I feel before the news broke out that Bray Wyatt was becoming a father ×2 to JoJo. I know he has kids, so I think before that. But becoming a father with JoJo again, having a second child together. If it wasn't for that, I'm pretty sure this would have been The Fiend versus Braun Strowman. And this is just a placeholder. Strowman's keeping the championship to at least he goes up against The Fiend, and then The Fiend's going to beat him. Drew McIntyre versus Bobby Lashley, WWE Championship match. Bobby Lashley just doesn't scream WWE Champion. He doesn't. Now, if there's a possibility, because this rumor is running around rapidly, Brock Lesnar possibly could come back. I could see this going two ways. One, there is no contest. This is a no contest match. This is not the last time that these two have a match. Because, quite honestly, who else is there? Who else do they have for Drew McIntyre? Who do they have for Drew McIntyre? Who do they have for Bobby Lashley? Either way, the winner of this match is going to be facing the loser of this match at Extreme Rules. Or B, this match goes to a no contest because Brock Lesnar makes his return, making this a triple threat match at Extreme Rules, where Drew McIntyre beats Brock Lesnar and Bobby Lashley, leading to Bobby Lashley versus Brock Lesnar at SummerSlam. And then Drew McIntyre versus probably Seth Rollins again, because quite honestly, unless they turn Kevin Owens heel, they have nobody else. They have literally nobody else. And then, which will probably be the main event, the greatest wrestling match of all time, Edge versus Randy Orton. I could give two shits who wins this match, but Edge won the first one, so I'm saying Randy wins this one. Will WWE continue to use this feud? Yes. I think this is going to be at SummerSlam. I think we're going to have something happen in this match, which sees Edge take the next month off, and then when we get to SummerSlam area time, which whether it's in August or it's in September, WWE is going to have Edge versus Randy Orton at SummerSlam. Now, I was watching Wrestling Observer on Twitch yesterday, and somebody actually brought it up, and I think I wouldn't be surprised if this was supposed to be. It's tagged as the greatest wrestling match ever. This match was quite clearly supposed to probably be at Saudi Arabia. The Saudi show was supposed to be where the greatest wrestling match ever was going to be. But since the pandemic shit happened and WWE can't really do anything else, they had to book the match for Backlash. Even though they didn't have to, they could have had Edge go after somebody else. Randy Orton just slither away for a while, and then you go to SummerSlam for the greatest wrestling match ever. But nope. And I just find it funny, and I'll say it again. This is supposed to be the greatest wrestling match ever. However, if you watched Smackdown tonight, whatever Randy Orton and Edge does on Sunday will not come close to what AJ Styles and Daniel Bryan did tonight. Daniel Bryan and AJ Styles could wrestle circles around Edge and Randy Orton. But those are my thoughts on Backlash. Let me know in the comment section below what you think. Hit that subscribe button, comment down below, like or dislike this video. Find me on Twitter at The Franz Club. Find me on twitch.tv/The Franz Club. Find me on Instagram at The Franz Club. And I will see you guys tomorrow, Sunday, for Unscripted, and then the greatest failure ever, Backlash. Till then, my name is The Franz, and I'll see you guys later.